Okay. Okay. I think there should be a little thing that you have to touch.
Got it.
Got it. There you go.
Where is it? There it is. Oh, come on, you can do it. Okay.
Okay. So let me, although most of you know me, sort of, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. We can start talking about the classes. I've been doing this for, oh my God, 4 decades at least. And it all just kind of happened in my life, as most things do for me. I arrived here with so many questions, big questions, like what happens when we die? What's the meaning of life? Why don't people change? You know, all of that stuff. And nobody could answer. You know, my mom would just like, what's wrong with this girl? And then I just kind of learned, shall we say, when I was about 15, to just start suppressing that part of myself and just ignoring all of my questions and all of my seeking, just to kind of fit in, you know. I just wanted to be a normal teenage kid. So I did that for quite a while, married my first husband, and as I was standing at the altar, I heard a voice loud and clear, and the voice said to me, "You are going to forget that you heard this, but in 7 years, you're going to remember." And so I went, what the hell is that? But 7 years later, I was sitting in front of Sesame Street with my son, who was 3. And all of a sudden, that little voice came back and said, okay, it's time to remember. And I was like, what am I supposed to remember? And it said, you'll find out. And I left my husband probably within the year and started teaching. Actually, I started teaching before I left my husband. It was all around the same time. And the reason that I started teaching was I had been studying channeling, which is a whole other interesting story, how I got into all that. But well, I'll tell you the story since it's only 4. What the heck? I haven't been able to tell this story in a long time. So we were living in an apartment, and my neighbor I'd gotten a little bit chummy with her, and she came up to have coffee one day, and she said, we got into the discussion about being psychic. And I said, you know, I really wish there was someplace I could go to learn how to be more psychic. And she said, oh, you know, I don't think there is. I think you're either born with it or you're not. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. And she told me a couple of psychic experiences that she's had, and I had a couple of experiences that I told her about. She went home the next day. She came knocking on my door frantically with a crumpled up piece of purple paper. And she said, oh my God, look at this. Look what I found on the floor, on the ground. And I opened it up and it said, learn to be psychic.
Oh.
Isn't that's so friggin' bizarre? Mm-hmm. And so it was this little office or little like storefront in Beverly Hills. And we drove there together the next night. And the teacher was like real normal looking, which was very important to me. I didn't want to have any weird stuff. And so I went to the class, and my neighbor thought it was really stupid. And I thought it was fascinating. And I was terrified, but I continued to go. And I went there for 3 years, and I ended up discovering that they weren't teaching you to be psychic, they were teaching you to be a channeler. So I became a channeler, and people would come to me and I would, you know, channel their dead aunts and whatever. And then it dawned on me that this is really kind of superficial. I'm still searching for something, you know. It's like, great, I'm telling you that your car needs an oil change or whatever from your Uncle Henry. I knew there must be something more. And so I started just kind of doing my own inner exploration, and spontaneously got in touch with some past life memories that freaked the hell out of me. And when I asked my teacher about it, she said, oh no, past lives don't exist. I thought, what? You're a spiritual teacher and you're telling me past lives don't exist? Well, that doesn't make any sense. So I ended up she ended up calling me up, and she needed somebody to cover for her for a class. And since I had been there 3 years and I was their star channeler, for me. And so I said, sure. And so I had no idea what I was going to do or what I was going to say, but I just kind of arrived, and there were 10 people there that had been in a group together for a long time, but nobody had really shared and nobody really knew each other. And so I just kind of opened up the space and said, okay, well, let's share and let's talk. And at the end of the class, everybody was hugging and crying. And and a woman, one of the people in the class came up to me and said, you seem to know a lot of stuff. Would you consider teaching me? And I said, in my head, I'm thinking, you are insane. I don't know anything. This is crazy. What could I possibly teach? But out of my mouth came, sure, I'd love to, bring your friends. And so she brought 10 of her friends in my very small living room, and I started talking about stuff, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was stuttering and stammering and terrified, and please don't ask me any questions. It was just terrified. I cried for days after they left, but then everybody came back the next week, and the rest is history. What I learned from all that was I can trust what comes out of my mouth. Even if I don't know what I'm talking about, there's something that's going to come out, and it's important. And that's how I have been teaching ever since. It's just kind of, well, another story that I like to tell is I was kind of teaching just sort of standard spiritual, love your mate, everybody, and that kind of thing. It wasn't real deep. And there was a student I had, this is one of my beginning classes, who said to me, well, that's all well and good, but how do you get there? And I said, well, here's how you get there. And out of my mouth came this information that I had no idea I had. And I actually demonstrated it on one of my students. And she had this major breakthrough. She released a ton of stuff, and everything in her life shifted. And I said, that's how you get there. And from that point on, I've been using that same technique. I've been fine tuning it and adding more information to it, et cetera. But, as Leah said, it really works. So that's a long version of my story. I had a spiritual center in Redondo Beach for 20 something years, and we opened a gallery store in Redondo Beach also, and we were selling all kinds of spiritually based handcrafted green items and art. And I was there for, gosh, a long time, very long time. And then Michael had his stroke, and we closed everything and moved up here. So there you go. That's my story. I think that's my story. Let me look at my notes, because I haven't done this in so long. I took good notes about myself. And yeah, well, okay, well, let me talk enough about me, about what the classes entail. And please feel free to ask questions. Don't hold back. Basically, if I were to give some bottom line words about the classes, I would have to say that they're about deservingness, they're about love, they're about clearing up your past, getting back in touch with your power, being able to deal with situations in life that maybe have been triggering, and getting past all that so things don't trigger anymore. And it's deep work. It is very deep work. I don't want to kid anybody and say, oh yeah, well, you'll just sit around and meditating and your life will be wonderful, because it's not like that. As Leah and Jackie can attest. I give people, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little tiny shovel on my neck. I give people 2 pieces of equipment when you start: shovel and a mirror. Those are the only 2 pieces of equipment that you need, because you'll be doing some deep digging and some really reflective looking within, which is not always fun. It's not always pleasant. Yeah. Let's see, what else was I going to say? That's the bottom line.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Something I've noticed lately is when I discover something new back there, I used to feel like, oh my God, this is so awful. But I've noticed that now I feel I feel like relief.
Mm,
It's like so amazing. I feel actually good when I discover some old trauma or whatever, trauma, usually always. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
that's true. I feel the same way. And I try to explain that to people that it's not only, not only does it feel good, but it's an adventure.
Yeah, it's an
You know,
adventure.
it's really interesting. Oh, so yeah, thank you for that. Because definitely it's like this. bleh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're gonna, jump into subconscious memories. A lot of the stuff that's impacting us they're very, very subconscious. So, and it can be in this life, it can be past lives, it can be between lives, it can be anywhere. So again, get your shovels out. I find that this work is very different than most personal development or spiritual development courses because I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do affirmations or do a vision board or do positive thinking or, it's not about manifesting your $1 million, your lottery ticket or whatever. I just don't go there. What I do, on the other hand, is help you to release whatever is in the way of all that. So there's no spiritual cliches. There's no, what's the latest? Oh, spiritual bypass. I love that. There's no spiritual bypasses.
Yeah.
So yeah. And but the other one, this one is not too current, but when it used to be a few years ago, everybody was like, well, just act as if.
Yeah.
Act as if. I'm like, no, we're going to be getting rid of some of those acts. So it can be real, it can be authentic. And I find that that's another word that I like to use in these classes. You're peeling off some stuff that's preventing you from being authentic and preventing you from being who you really are and living a purposeful life and discovering why you're here. I find that happens a lot with people. Get rid of some old self-sabotaging beliefs. There's things that are running us that we're not even aware of that we will get that shovel out and get rid of because, we have some very odd programs going on in us that we need to get rid of. And feeling like a victim, that's something I talk about over and over and over. Why do we feel like a victim? So understanding that that's a real key issue that we'll be talking about a lot. If I were to put it all into one basket, I would say we look at our fears, our conscious fears and our subconscious fears, and find out where they came from and get rid of them. Fear is running us. I was one of these people that I didn't think I was afraid. I could get on an airplane. I wasn't, I could drive on the freeway. I didn't have fear, I thought. And then I started doing some inner work and I discovered, wow, I'm like a walking fear machine. That's all I'm functioning from is fear, like fear of commitment or fear of being real, fear of loss, fear of, I could just give you a mountain of lists of the fear that was running me. So, we'll be looking a lot at that. Stop living from fear. It's not a quick fix in case you haven't gotten the message about that. It's digging. It's, some people have some major breakthroughs real fast. Some people don't. And that's okay. It takes as long as it takes. And I do recommend not having any expectations on the results. I always warn people about that because, it's like, okay, well, if it's working, this is what's going to be happening in my life. I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to walk on water. I'm going to, we have this list. So let go of that whole list and know that whatever unfolds will happen and it's all good, as they say. So let's see. And, the thing that I find is that the work actually is permanent. It's not just this spiritual high that you feel when that's the other thing that happened for me. I was doing all these spiritual workshops and whatever, and I would feel great at the end. But then by the time I would get home, I'd be like flipping people off on the freeway and yelling at my son and screaming at my husband, So that's not what this is about. It's more of a permanent shift in how you perceive yourself and how you perceive your life, how you perceive others. And if you have certain triggers, those triggers will go away so that you can really come from a loving place. So that's important. Okay, I have a list here. What happens? This is stuff that I have witnessed that happens from doing this work. Get beyond fears, as I've said. You might be able to, you're probably able to shift your false beliefs that have been sabotaging you. Patterns can change. You know, that's something else that I have noticed a lot in my own life and with my students, is that these repetitious things that keep happening that you might not even realize are repetitious. They start to change, they start to shift. That's important. Your perception of yourself and others can change. You might discover who you really are. I think I've said a lot of these, why you're here. Deservingness, I talk a lot about deservingness. Why do we feel so undeserving? You know, what is that really about? And that's not just about money or objects, it's about everything, you know, deserving love, deserving attention, deserving to do your purpose, all of that I do talk about. Some people find that their intuitive level starts to go higher. And I think that's a wonderful thing, because that's your higher consciousness, that's your soul talking to you. So yeah, that's real important. And let's see, applicable tools. We're not just sitting around here, you know, as they say, what is the expression, contemplating your navel? Is that the right expression? We're not doing that. There's some kind of expression like that. That's not what we're doing. We are given tools to live a life that's more higher consciousness, that's more from love, that's more from deservingness, so that if you find yourself in a situation that's uncomfortable or is pushing your button, or you're angry, or you're reading the news and you're pissed off, it's like, okay, what do I do with that right now? So I don't have to live like that. So I don't have to feel so upset all the time. You know, so there's very applicable pragmatic tools that you will get from doing this work. And I find that it's really a balance of spiritual and real world. I'm a very pragmatic person. You know, I just, yeah, that's how I am. So I didn't want to just kind of be sitting in a mountaintop somewhere in my orange robes and, you know, I wanted to be able to live in a spiritual way, but in a very grounded, pragmatic way as well. So any questions so far on anything I've said?
What got you to the mountains?
What got me to the mountain? I've always wanted to live in the mountains. I used to do retreats up here, and it's been one of those dreams that I've always had. And when we were moving, we needed to get away from where we were living. And I said to a friend of mine, I said, you know, I'd really like to live in the mountains. She goes, really? Okay, let me research that for you. And she got back to me and said, look at what you can get in the mountains. Look at this. And I looked at the prices and I was like blown away. Yeah, just blown away. And yeah, you know, there's shoveling snow and all of that. And, you know, the commute is treacherous, but I can't even imagine living in the city ever again. I love it up here so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds wonderful.
It's heaven. And Shelley, you've lived here most of your life, haven't you? Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. 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 So any other questions so far? Nope. Okay. Well, I talked about what the classes are about and the purpose. Excuse me, but I want to make sure everybody's really clear about what I won't do. What I won't do. Number one, I will not give advice. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes for people because they're like, oh, come on, just tell me what to do. It's like, no, it's all about getting your own power back. That's why I'm calling it Empower Your Life. So even if you beg and plead, even if you like offer me, you know, tips and bribes, please, no, won't do it. Sorry. No advice. I also won't figure out your issues for you. You're the only one that can do that. I do not do that. I won't argue or try to convince you of anything. I've had many skeptical students. I don't know if Leah, if there were any in any of your classes, but I've had students that just took me to task and how can you say that? And that's wrong. And I don't believe that and all that. And it's like, okay, that's fine. So I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to try to convince anybody of anything. And it's really interesting because two things I've learned from skeptical students. Number one, it's because the truth is too close. They're like, oh, I really don't want to hear that. So I'm going to argue with you. And the other thing I've learned is that when they break through, they really break through. Yeah. So it's interesting. So be as skeptical as you like. It's fine. Ask me all those questions that you think, oh God, no, I'm going to trick her on this one. Yeah. The other thing is I won't give sympathy or empathy. I will give a lot of compassion, a lot of caring, but I'm not going to go, oh God, you poor thing. Oh my God. Or I'm also not going to say, oh yeah, I feel the same way. I have that same issue. Yeah, that, in fact, I'm going to talk about some agreements for the class, but don't do that. That really keeps people stuck. Give all the compassion and caring that you want, but sympathy and empathy really keeps people stuck. I also won't rescue you. So again, you're on your own.
I'm worried.
Yes. And last but not least, I hopefully will not invalidate anyone. So if I say something that feels like I've just invalidated you for some reason, just let me know. I've had people disappear just because I said something that's like, no, I didn't mean it like that. No. So yeah, just make sure to talk to me about that. So questions on that? Me too. So next thing I want to talk about things I will do. I make 100% commitment to all of my students, which is why I've always kept the groups small. So whatever you need, except all of the above that I just said I wouldn't do, but whatever you need, if you need support, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need somebody to, just listen, whatever you need, I am here, absolutely. So don't hesitate. Let's see, I won't necessarily say that much to you when you're talking to me, because again, a lot of it is listening to yourself and reflecting on what you're saying. So if you sit here and think, God, why is she not saying anything? That's why. Let's see what else. I won't say much. I feel compassion. And again, it's about learning to trust yourself and learning to get back in touch with your own power. Sometimes what I will do with a student is ask questions. It's like, well, so what is that about for you? Or have you noticed a pattern of that? Or, things like that. But that's about all I will do. I will encourage you to do the work and get the value. So if I notice that you're just kind of, not really present and not doing it, I might point that out and go, hey, what's going on here? And the other thing just to let you guys know about is that I have this little radar thing that happens. It's called, well, I'll be explaining more about it in the weeks to come, but I start noticing when people start fading out. Even if you're on Zoom, I will notice it and I will say, okay, what's going on? Because sometimes if I'm saying something that's really close to home and it really kind of maybe pushes a button of some kind, the instant reaction is to zone out, fade out, yawn, pass out, all of that. And I don't take it personally. In fact, I think it's kind of a compliment. It means that something I'm saying is being resisted, but I will definitely say, okay, what's going on here? So any questions on any of that so far? No?
Anxious to start.
I know, me too. Get some more people in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm taping it, so feel free to share it. So here are some don'ts, things to be aware of in the class. Do not do this class for anyone other than you. If you're sitting here thinking, well, I'm just gonna, all my friends are going to think I'm so cool, and my husband is just going to really think that I'm just hot shit. Don't do the class for anybody but you. This is your journey. Don't try to prove something. Don't try to be cool. Don't try to be better than someone. Don't try to get someone to change. Yeah, I've seen that happen a lot, a whole lot. Oh, if I do this, then my husband will be a bit different. And yeah, don't do that. And don't try to impress your friends. So yeah. I'm just so cool and spiritual now. I'm doing these classes with Royce. Don't do that. I already mentioned this one. Don't have any expectations about what's going to happen from this work. Just be surprised, be pleasantly surprised, see what happens. And I do find in all the years I've been doing this, when I resolve something, it's almost like I forget who I used to be. I don't know if Leah, if you experience that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, who was I anyway? Oh,
Yeah.
Ruby
Yeah.
is here. Oh my gosh, somebody else just got here. Awesome. Oh, no, where is she? There she is. Ruby.
Recording in progress.
I think I'm going to plug in my computer. Right. I'm just going to plug my.
Okay.
It's losing.
Ruby, I can't see you. Are you going to let us see your beautiful face?
Well, I'll let you see my face, but I don't know how beautiful it is. I'm in my room, so it's kind of dark.
Hey, Ruby.
Here I am.
I've been yakking.
Thanks for listening. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm just so glad you're here.
I'm so glad. Hi, Annette.
Hi,
Annette's
sweetheart.
here, and two other people that you don't know, and one live human in the flesh. There she is. Hi.
Oh, hi. I thought you were talking about Michael.
No,
Yeah,
no.
where is he?
He's home working on his puzzle and his art. So Ruby, I just got through telling everybody my entire life story and what to expect from the classes, but I'll send you the tape and you can listen and watch and whatever.
Oh, thank you, Royce.
Yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah, the one more thing I wanted to mention that I think is really important about doing this course is to let yourself experience it. It's not about the information. You will not be tested at the end of this. Really.
Yay.
Hey, you won't be tested. You will not have to, spelling doesn't count, definitions don't count. I will be giving a lot of information, but it's really about what you experience. And what that means is, what are you noticing about yourself sitting here with this group of people? What am I noticing about myself not wanting to hear that last thing that she just said? What am I noticing about that person over there that's driving me crazy? What is it that I need to see about myself in this experience? So it's really self-reflection. It's really about seeing whatever comes up for you. If you suddenly feel angry or sad or whatever, just notice it and experience it. And if you want, it's always your choice, but if you want, you can share it with the group. And I encourage that because there's value in that. I've been doing this, Ruby, I've been doing this for over 4 decades. And I find I find that there's never a coincidence. It's not coincidental in terms of who you end up being in a group with. I've had groups where everybody had an alcoholic father, or everybody was abused as a child, or everybody, it's just really interesting to see the reason that a group gets thrown together. There's never an accident as to why that happens. So feel free to share, feel free to express yourself. If you're suddenly feeling, oh God, I'm just terrified right now, and whatever it is, just say it. But I find that the group is a microcosm of your life in some way. Maybe Leah reminds you of your sister, and maybe Annette reminds you of your mother, whatever it is. Maybe I remind you of your 3rd grade teacher that you hated or something. So there's no coincidences. It's all a microcosm, and feel free to share because there's value in that. You know, the first 20 minutes of the class is all about just sharing and getting things out and expressing what happened to you during the week and that sort of thing. So feel free to do that. So observe yourself and observe others and observe your fears and observe your sleepiness and defensiveness. And yes, I do give homework assignments as well. Oh no! Just when I said
At
there's
least
no
we're not
test.
graded on it.
You're not graded. Oh God, Shelley's leaving on that one. No, this is like an inner homework assignment, so it'll make sense. It's all based on the information that I'm going to be giving you. So yeah. So any questions so far?
No, I'm liking what I'm hearing so far.
Yay. Yay. So I'm going to start screen sharing, which I've never done before. So let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Oh, there it is. There it is. Here. Okay. All right. Now, how do I get back to the first page?
When you click on that green icon that says screen share,
Yeah,
there you go.
but that's not the first page. Okay. It's not letting me scroll.
Hmm.
Royce, down on the bottom where you can slide that
There we
little.
go.
Oh yeah, there's
There
your,
we go.
your
There we
rod.
go. Yay. Ah, technology. Okay, so
Right?
I will email all of you a copy of this, but I just want to kind of go over it. This is the information, specific information. Uh-oh, it just got echoey.
Someone turn on a phone by you?
No. Okay. Well, anyway, the first one is just a thank you for being here, and it basically just repeats everything that I said. And how do I make it bigger?
Bottom right where it says 61%, there's that little toggle switch, very bottom right. And there's a bar.
I see it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
and you want to slide it to the right.
There. Yay. Okay. Thank you. All right. So that's the first letter that you can read. And then the purposes. I think I've said a lot of this, you know, talking about how change comes from within and it's awakening to who you really are, powerful, deserving, competent being. Old issues get resolved, all of that stuff. I don't need to repeat myself on that. It can shift your perspective. I think that's an important thing to keep in mind because, you know, how we perceive everything it becomes our truth, you know? So if you are perceiving somebody in a negative way, then that is, what? Oh, it's just echoing again. I don't know why. Maybe if I turn this down. Yeah. It's still echoing. Really? Okay, let's try it now. No, still echoey.
It comes in and out, so don't worry about it.
All right. Okay. So all of these things I've said already, Ruby, you've missed all of them, but you can read it.
Okay.
Yeah, something else to mention is that everybody has different reasons for taking this class. And some people have said to me, well, I don't know if this is the right group for me because, you know, I have this big issue going on, but I find that any issue you have going on, any issue you have going on, slide to the frame of this structure. Are you guys hearing the echo?
Yeah.
No.
Everybody needs to mute. Everybody needs to mute.
Oh,
Okay.
everybody mute except me.
You-
Kind of mute, Leah. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. No more echo. I love it. Thank you, Jackie. All right. So things that may occur. Let's talk about that one. Things that may occur when taking this course. I've already warned everybody that it's deep work and we're going to have shovels and mirrors and squirrels watching us. The squirrel just ran by. So things that I have noticed is that issues that you thought were resolved may resurface. Suppressed emotions may show up. Areas in your life that are left with unfinished business may manifest in some way. I always tell this story, and Leah, you've probably heard this story, but I had a student one time that when I said that, she kind of went, yeah, okay, whatever. And she came to class the following week and she said, you aren't going to believe this, but I bumped into 4 old boyfriends this week. Each one of them, she had unfinished business with. So get ready. Things like that might happen. Things that used to bring satisfaction may not work anymore. That's not unusual. It's like, ooh, why was I doing that? You may feel a little spacey or forgetful. That sometimes happens when doing this kind of spiritual work. You may feel more intensely alive, more acutely aware. That's a good one. You may desire to make drastic changes in your life, but I highly recommend that you wait several weeks before doing so. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go get divorced now. No, wait, wait. Yeah, just give yourself a few weeks. Your dreams may take on a different quality, and I highly recommend that you begin journaling about them, but I'm going to talk about journaling next week. Number 9, you may not want to show up. That happens. So that's why it's important to really make a commitment and to be here no matter what, because, you know, there's all kinds of things that may start preventing you or convincing you to not show up. It's like, oh, I'm just too tired. It's too warm. It's too cold. I don't know. I think I'd rather stay home and watch TV. You know, there's that kind of stuff. So just recognize that that's probably how fear is showing up, sabotaging your growth. And give me a quick call or text me and we'll talk about it. And whoops. Yeah, don't do that. And again, as I said earlier, it's not about all the intellectual knowledge and information. It's only as valuable as you let yourself experience it. So do that. Any questions so far on any of that? If you do, you need to unmute yourself so I can hear you. Nope. Okay. So then the next one is another little letter that talks about dear applying student. I'm committed to you, all of that stuff. We are getting married. I'm teasing. We're not getting married, but I am definitely committed to you, and whatever that means. If an issue arises that seems too big or embarrassing or frightening to share in the group, feel free to talk to me privately. You guys all know that I'm available for private work as well. If you really feel stuck with something and it's big, you know, let's work on it privately. That's fine. And what else? Logistics. Come to each class. Each class feeds into the next class. So if you miss a class, I'm going to be taping everything, but still, it's, you know, it's just not the same not being here. So one class may not make sense if you miss the one previous to it. Arrive on time. The first 20 minutes is devoted to group sharing. You know what? Here. You're a live person and I have handouts. You're welcome. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll be sharing, and that's a very important aspect of your experience. The lecture is approximately an hour, and feel free to ask questions as I'm going. If you have a desire to not show up, recognize you're probably in fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Show up anyway. And don't have expectations on how your shifting is going to take place. I've said that probably 5 times. Utilize this information in ways that you feel pulled to. So, you know, again, don't make big life changes until approximately week 5 or 6. Don't use this information to feel superior, judge others, or attempt to preach from them. I've had people do that. Don't do that. And as I've said, the group is a perfect part of your inner journey. Each person is here to teach you something. It's not just me, it's everybody. And it's about the experience. Any questions on that? I'm talking a lot. No questions? Gosh. Okay, so here's some agreements. They're not rules. If you break them, you will not be banned from my class. But this is really to support your experience here and to get the value that you deserve. If you're not comfortable with any of the agreements, talk to me rather than break them. Talk to the group if you want to. The first one, commit to attend each week. I've said that. No alcohol or drugs in your body the day of class unless it's medically prescribed. I do find that sometimes things like physical things turn on for people right before class. It's like, oh, I got a headache, you know, that sort of thing. So try not to take drugs or, you know, things that are not prescribed prior to class. Sometimes even just coming to class and saying, you know, I had this headache 10 minutes ago, turn on. Sometimes the headache just goes away. It's interesting. Wear comfortable clothes and don't eat heavily right before class. Turn off those electronic devices and be present without distractions. Boy, that's probably the hardest one on there, huh? God, I can't even imagine 1 minute without my cell phone, but yeah, turn it off. Everything that is shared is confidential. So it's very safe to share whatever you need to say in here and know that it's not going to go any further than this room. But feel free to share, you know, what you experience, you know, that's fine, but kind of be appropriate. I've had people share some things that were a little bit difficult for people to hear. So be careful with that. Feel whatever comes up from being here, even if you're uncomfortable or scared, especially if you're uncomfortable and scared. Verbally acknowledge what's going on. It's great to have insight about yourself from that. And as I've said earlier, this group, I will only listen, and I'm really hoping that you guys do that too. So don't add to what somebody is sharing or invalidate it or give empathy or sympathy or attempt to fix, rescue, all that stuff. You know, we're here. This is a journey for us, and stepping in that way can be very disempowering. So don't do that. Ask questions, get value, participate, push through fears where you usually stop yourself. If you're not getting what you need, ask. And I've already talked about skepticism. And allow yourself to be supported. I am here. I will support you in any possible way. And this is a process. So any questions on that? Not only are you guys quiet, but you're all muted. Okay. So financial policy, the classes are $20. Is that what we decided? That was 25. I don't know why I said 20. We can keep it at 20. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you want to do the classes, they're $20 each. And Shelley has this wonderful app that you can go on and sign up and pay your money. And if you need to break it down into smaller payments, I would appreciate it if you do the 50% deposit. But if that doesn't work for you, then yeah, just let me know. And I'm very open about payment situations. So talk to me about that. Don't hesitate. And the private sessions, that's so bizarre. Okay, I raised all of that. I don't know why it's not showing up on my thing, but anyway, that's what I'm charging. Oh, on yours, it does say 100 and 250 on mine. For some reason, it says 200 and then 85. So anyway, that is all I have on there. And then any questions on the financial stuff? Okay.
When would you like that to be paid?
Say that again, Ruby.
Like today, would that be a day you have to make the payment? How does that work?
Whenever you can. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, the app is not taking payments.
But we take squares and send out.
Okay.
Already.
Shelley said that that the app is not taking payments at this point. They have some kind of a screwy thing going on with the app, but Venmo and Square, and you'll be sending that. Okay. Okay, she can send that out to you, and then, you know, whenever you want to do that. So yes, everything is technological. So any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, so then that final page is something that I really want you to focus in on because it's important. It's an application, and I know that we'll give out the app that you can actually join online or whatever, but I find that this application is kind of the start of your inner journey because it's going to ask some questions and you're going to have to start reflecting and looking within. So just, you know, name, phone number, date, all of that, but please describe any previous inner work you've done or are currently doing, like therapy, meditation, anything that you consider to be inner work, just write it down. And then describe in detail what you would like to address in this course. So maybe you want to deal with an addiction, or maybe you want to love your husband, maybe you want to win the lottery, whatever it is, write it down. And don't hesitate. You can use all the space you want. You know, whatever those issues are that you'd really like to take a look at, write them down. And then I know I keep saying to not have expectations about how the changes are going to show up, but describe any changes you would like to see happen in your life. So, you know, be okay with however those changes show up, but just start writing things down. I find, again, that when you start writing things down, it kind of sends a signal that you're serious about stuff. And again, it's also about looking within and seeing, well, why am I taking this class? You know, am I just doing it for the fun of it and to impress my friends, or do I really want to get something from this? So write all those things down. And then this is the big question. Notice how you sabotage yourself. Maybe you have taken other things like this, or, you know, have signed up for stuff and then you never show up, or you suddenly get really tired, or you suddenly get drunk right before you go to class, whatever it is. So how are you tending to sabotage yourself at growing and changing in your life? So just, again, start noticing all of that stuff and write that down. And then just to cover everybody's little, you know, whatever, liturgical asses, just sign that, you know, I'm not a therapist and I'm not practicing psychotherapy. And if I am currently in therapy, I have discussed doing this work with my therapist. It's just kind of important to do that. And just email that over to me, or yeah, before next week, and you can fill yours out and whatever. Yeah. So any questions?
It's
Yes,
a lot to
it-
think about.
Yes, it is. I know. Do you have questions about it though?
Kind of just trying to wrap my head around all the questions, and I'm a little bit more confused than I thought of what I've gone through in the past and how to word it. I've not really had to write anything down, so it's something I got to kind of look into myself for.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. So any other questions? Yeah. Can you guys hear Shelley?
Not really. Say it again.
I just wanted to affirm what you said. That is a challenge to me too, is to write it down and to try to figure out what you think which arrow you want to start shooting at, or the target.
Right.
Really a challenge for me,
Mhm.
but you're good there.
So any other?
Do I talk about things that we discussed before? If I want to make that public, or
It's totally up to,
where I left off, or
yeah. Totally up to you.
Okay.
But just so you know, I know that everybody in here would be fine with all that.
okay.
Yes. But trust yourself.
That's the one thing I don't
Yeah.
know how to trust myself yet.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Yeah. So any
Me
other
too.
any other questions? No. So we're going to do a little meditation, a little kind of demonstration of some of the stuff that we'll be doing, just so you guys have kind of a sense of what this is. And does anybody need to take a quick break? Bathroom, nothing. You guys you're all okay? Okay. All right. So, does everybody have a comfortable spot they're sitting in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember what my topic is. It's so long. Okay. All right. So all you need to do is just listen to my voice and I'll be directing you. And the only other thing you need to do is just trust, whatever comes up. You might have thoughts or memories or images or sensations, emotions, all kinds of things may come up in the meditation, and just trust them. They're all there for a reason. And let's do it. So everybody close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, allow your body to feel supported wherever you're sitting. And just keep breathing, relaxing, pushing all that air out. Inhaling deeply and slowly. And again, just allow your body to feel safe, supported. Allow yourself to feel trusting, deserving. And every time you exhale, I'd like you to imagine that your breath is turning into a white light. And as you exhale, imagine that light is expanding around you. Just envision that. Imagine what that would look like if you were surrounded with white light. And allow that light to give you a sense of safety and trust, deservingness. Allow it to expand each time you exhale. And just feel all of our energy connecting. We're all here together no matter where we are. And if you're noticing any fears or concerns, just imagine that they're melting in that energy. That white light is just pure, loving energy. I'm going to have you focus on a couple of different questions, and your job is to just trust whatever comes to you. Don't edit, don't try to figure it out, don't struggle with it. Just allow whatever comes to you to be there and be felt. And I'd like you to recall a time that you were happy, joyous. Doesn't have to be a big, huge reason for your happiness. Just trust whatever comes to your mind, the time that you felt joyous or happy. And it can be a recent time or a time in the past. Doesn't matter. Just trust whatever comes to your mind, a time that you were happy or joyous. And let yourself really feel that happiness for a moment. Just re-experience it. Noticing how your body might be feeling. Notice if you're having any thoughts when you're feeling happy. Notice those thoughts. Notice if you had any other emotions when you were feeling happy. Maybe there were other feelings there as well. I'd like you to shift into the next question, and you'll have some time to go back to that first one in a few minutes. But I'd like you to ask yourself to recall a time that you really felt authentic, a time that you were really being who you are. And again, just trust whatever comes up. It can be recently or in the past, be big or small, a moment, time that you were really feeling authentic, really being who you are. And if nothing comes to you, that's fine too. Just notice that. And let yourself really focus in on that time that you felt you were being authentic. Notice how your body felt. Maybe there were sensations in your body or your posture was different. Just trust, focus in on how your body felt when you were being authentic. Notice if you had any emotions that were there when you were being authentic. Notice those emotions, whatever they were. And notice if you had any thoughts when you were being authentic. Negative thoughts, positive thoughts, any kind of thoughts. That's what comes to mind. Notice if you had any fears when you were being authentic. Is it scary for some reason? So I'm going to give you a few minutes in silence, and you can ponder those two questions and look for other times that you felt happy or joyous, other times that you felt authentic. And just trust whatever comes to mind. And if you're having a hard time locating either of those, that's okay. Just notice that. Trust what comes up. Let yourself feel, and I'll come for you in just a few minutes. Okay. Let yourself slowly start to come back. Just feel yourself back in your body and back in your chair, back in this present moment. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. So, is everybody back? It looks like everybody's back. What I always like to do at this point is open it up for people to share. If you would like to share, you're never required to share, but there's a lot of value in sharing and in hearing what everybody else experienced. So who would like to share? Good.
I got caught on that word authentic, and it really like kind of stopped me like my tracks. Really hard to, because I had two feelings with being authentic. It was like, oh, I've felt great being authentic, but I also felt fear too, like you noted, and it's almost like a veil, like the veil of like what I'm trying to hide or something, but how good I feel when I am being authentic. And then I started thinking about how I am authentic to people, but maybe not my family. And it's almost just like wasn't a good feeling. It was almost like I don't try enough with my family or something. Wow, I didn't know that those feelings would come up just here, just with that word. Never thought about it before. So that was worms. I don't know.
Oh, who else would like to share?
Yeah, I felt happy over, which I always do because they're just funny. And they made me laugh. And I feel happy when they're,
Oh,
and
Leah,
then authentic. You can't hear me?
you keep freezing. There.
Weird.
You can
It
close your
said my
video and that will
internet
help your
connection
sound.
is
That if you turn off your video, that will help.
right. Right. Oh, okay. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Should
have
I
tech
start?
support. Yeah, I couldn't understand you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was talking about my grandchildren, and I feel happy when they're here. And yeah, it's amazing. And then authentic. I've been having moments of feeling authentic, like I'll just say something that is like not me. I mean, it's like a some kind of spiritual thing that I'm just saying, like I don't have an example, but it's like the real me, and it's just like I'll just come out with something when my family's here, and I'll just think, wow, who was that? I guess it's like, a higher part of me or something. But it's just interesting that's been happening.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Leah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the technical support, Jackie.
Yeah.
All these things I don't know about with Zoom. Thank you.
I know. Well, I've done tons of Zoom things. I was a teacher on Zoom for a year. I've done it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can share next.
Yeah. And Jackie, I kept trying to get you to introduce yourself and you never did, so you need to combine the two.
Okay. Thank you, Royce. Thank you,
Yes.
everybody. It's nice to see everybody here. My name's Jackie Stratton, and I got introduced to Royce years ago by my husband, who I've been with for 30 years. So his family was all in Royce's classes, and so we have that deep connection together. And it's been quite a journey. I feel like I always come back to you, Royce. I live in Humboldt County, all the way at the top of the state, and I'm a teacher, an elementary school teacher. I teach second grade. I've been teaching for 25 years in various capacities. I'm a mother of 3. One's a college student. She moved out, and that made things better. And I'm going through some hard times right now, so that'll segue into my share. So the most time I ever felt happy, I went back to when my daughter was a baby, and I felt like this deep connection with my mom and my daughter, who they're really close and stuff, and my mom's not doing well, so it's been such a shift to see my life change from being a young mom to being middle-aged. And I'm just exhausted and sad that I don't have that same happiness in my life. I haven't felt happy like that in a long time. I do feel happy when I'm with my students. Children make me happy, I guess. Right, Leah?
Yeah. Yeah.
And life has been quite a journey. I feel like I'm my most authentic self when I'm teaching. And my whole goal in life is to help serve others and uplift others so that they can have better lives. And so I feel like my authenticity comes out in that way. And I feel like I have been authentic maybe in these classes. I'm my authentic self. But I'm not very proud of myself. I feel like I have a lot of problems, and I feel like I keep myself stuck. So I just realized I really need to process with you, Royce. That's what happened when you first started talking. I was like, I don't need this class. I need to like process with Royce privately. So anyways, I know I was talking to you about that, and I appreciate you saying so when, and I never got back to you. So I need to
Yeah, I
plan that.
noticed. I noticed.
I'm just so overwhelmed all the time and exhausted. I guess I'm in a button push about life, but yeah, I fell asleep at the end there because I'm so stimmed. And I guess what I should say is I'm overstimulated by my own inability to overcome my mistakes and my weaknesses in life. And so I fell asleep. And then you said, come on back now. I was like, oh, did I finish the process? I guess I fell asleep. So anyways, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, Jackie.
You have a very nice voice.
Yeah.
I'll
So,
turn on my video now.
yay, thank you. Yay, Jackie, there
Hello.
she is. So, Ruby and or Annette, would you like to share?
Ruby, you want to go first?
What came to me when I went through that little journey back and happier times, I think for me, and this has kind of been in the back of my mind anyway, when I used to do energy healing, I used to feel such an unconditional love that was flowing through me and going to others, and I would feel from others. And I feel like I should continue to do that. But during the pandemic, I kind of stopped because with all that bad energy that was all around, when I was just in my house, I wasn't around anyone. It was draining me. The energy people were sending out was so negative. So I kind of have been afraid to go back to feeling the energy. I kind of closed myself off to protect myself from being drained by other people's energy. And I think when we are online, what was the lady that was speaking before this?
Jackie?
Jacqueline?
Or Leah?
Jackie. Yeah, I think she was putting me to sleep. She was pulling some of my energy. 'Cause I was all relaxed and then I started falling asleep. I was like, oh, I think someone's taking my energy. But it's fine. You just got to let me know so I can send it that way so it don't drain mine. But I don't know. That's what I kind of feel like. I've been using it right now through prayer because, like I say, I've kind of been afraid to that with that contact because it was so draining the ugly energy that we were putting out during those ugly times. Well, it's not any better now, but I've just learned to protect myself from it. So I don't know if that's the way I'm supposed to be going, if that's what Royce's class is leading me to, because that's what I think has been pointing me in that direction again. But then when it hit me right in the head, the first thing when you said that, it was like, oh, the unconditional love that I was feeling and flowing through me with people. And I have a great time with my children and family all the time, but that was really when I was giving, because I like to teach whatever I learn. I like to spread it, you know, to other people, and I like to learn from other people. And I did. That's why I love this class. But I don't know if I'll be continuing. But I love what Royce is doing.
Thank you,
And you
Ruby.
women are great.
You. Yeah, and I do talk a lot about energy and why we get drained and all of that. So yeah, definitely talk about that. Thank you, Ruby. All right,
There
you
we
are it.
go.
You are it, Annette.
I'm not sure what my authentic self is. I think I need to rediscover that. I know the happiest time I had was in art class before the pandemic because I physically was relaxed. I felt enormous love. Ooh, my skin's crawling. Um, Love and camaraderie and happiness in that class that we all met in. And when we would sit there and share snacks, Ruby and I would share cookies or fruit, or we would all sing while we're painting. I just felt like I can't imagine anywhere else. I felt like that maybe at Disneyland when I was really trying to teach myself that I can be alone and I can be happy. And then I met Frank and everything went out the window. Um, but I was genuinely happy. And I was saying it was blissful. I didn't want to go home because I just wanted to stay there the whole night and all of us stay and we enjoyed each other's company. I've never been in a big group like that I couldn't think of one person that I didn't care for in that room. And then the pandemic hit and I got sick and then everything just kind of went downhill and they stopped my singing group and that's probably the only other time is being on stage and where I had some adrenaline. I love being under pressure and adrenaline, but I don't know if that's authentic for me. I know I can strive being the center of attention. I taught for 15 years high school photography. So I had a unique group of students that a lot of them I'm still in contact with, and things have changed for them. You know, they're adults now, and one just lost her husband, and I feel for her, and I want to just run to her, but she keeps telling me, I'm okay, I'm gonna get through this. And I feel like I'm lost, like I'm supposed to be doing more, and I'm feeling really lost. And then with all the weird stuff that's been going on this past few months, I just don't know where I am anymore. I don't sleep, I don't eat, but I don't lose weight. So I know I probably binge eat when I do eat, and I've got more problems that I don't want to admit to. And I need to take care of that.
Well, I am really glad you're here. Thank you.
You.
Yeah,
Me too, Annette.
yeah. You guys are all awesome, amazing humans. So thank you all for sharing and for being here. What I always like to end a class with is what I call a closing down meditation. It takes about 2 minutes just to kind of ground ourselves. So I'm going to have you close your eyes one more time.
Do you want to share, Royce?
Oh, no, I'm fine. Thank you. It was great. I love being here. My authentic self is teacher. So thank you, Jackie. All right, so close your eyes again and thank yourself for being here, for doing what you just did, sharing, looking inside, starting this journey. And let's just know for a moment that we absolutely deserve to take this journey together. You deserve to discover who you really are, to get to that joy that is deep within, that is just dying to come out, playful human that you are. And just ask yourself if you feel ready to make this commitment. This is a commitment to yourself, and it's a big one. So tell the truth to yourself. Am I really ready to do this? I know you deserve to, and I know you're ready, but you need to know. And really trust that very first knowingness. That's your intuition, that's your higher consciousness, that's your spirit. Trust it. And just commit to not letting anything get in the way of your commitment to yourself, to this journey. You're committed to your life, and you deserve to not let fear control you. That's all it is, just fear. And if you do feel that you're ready, your spirit is telling you to be here, listen to that, make the commitment. And again, don't let anything get in the way. Know that you're supported. The universe is supporting you in coming. You're absolutely supported, and you deserve to be here. I had you Surround yourself with white light in the beginning of the meditation, and I'd like you to imagine all that light is coming back inside of you, replenishing you, filling you with positive, loving, trusting, deserving energy. And every time you inhale, just pull it in, feel it deflating around you like a balloon. Feel yourself completely back in your body, replenished, loved, supported, trusting. Take your time, and when you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Oh, I'm definitely relaxed now. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions or anything I can answer to twist your arm to be here next week? I hope you guys have fun.
On Sundays, Sunday
Sundays-
before.
Sundays work, yeah. Does that work for everybody? Yeah?
Yeah.
It seems like kind of a good compromise. It's not quite dinner and it's not quite middle of the day, so yeah.
Yeah, next Sunday I'm gonna go visit Morgan, my son.
Oh,
So in Oregon.
oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, I won't be here.
Oh,
Yep.
well, have fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions or needs to talk to me about signing up or whatever, and just let me know. And I'll email you guys all the handouts. You can have them physically.
Okay.
Thank you, Royce.
Thank you, Ruby. Good to see your window.
Right? I'm sitting in my chair, so sorry, here I am.
You're
I
so
was in
funny.
the dark, right?
Uh,
And hopefully we'll have some more people for next week, but I'll keep you guys posted.
okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
We
Yes,
will,
thank
Bye.
you.
You on
Bye.
board.
guys.
Hi, Annette.
Bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you, Leah.
Nice to meet you,
Bye-bye.
Jackie and Leah.
Yeah, Jackie.
Kelly.
And who was the other one?
Leah
Leah. No, I
and
said
Shelley.
Leah.
Sitting next to you,
Shelly, yeah.
Shelly.
And Shelley.
Bye, guys. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye,
Oh, we
everyone.
saw your hand. Wow, Ruby.
Yeah, I put it out there so you could see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.